Welcome into the Chiefs Report. I am your host, Harrison Graham. You guys have been asking for it for a while. Thought the bye week made the most sense. Let's go through my latest Chiefs mock draft, all 7 rounds. Well, 6 rounds because the Chiefs don't have a 7th round pick, but lots of picks to get into. So let's go ahead and start in round 1. By the way, this mock draft run through the Draft Network Mock Draft Simulator. So that's what the draft order is based on and all of that stuff. Okay. First round, Shaun Wade, the cornerback out of Ohio State. Has played primarily nickel in his career, playing more outside this year now that Jeff Okudah and Damon Arnett got drafted this past year. Getting to play some more outside. Has the frame to be an outside corner, but he's been mostly a nickel and was probably more effective when he was playing just nickel his first couple of years at Ohio State. It's been a bit of a transition this year. I still think this is a first-round talent, but if you can get him at the end of the first round, I think that's really good value. I think if he would have come out last year, he'd have been a top 20 pick. So to get him here at number 30 overall, I think that's really, really good. 4 picks in his career, 15 pass breakups. Pretty good tackler as well. And what is Steve Spagnuolo like? Versatile defensive backs with Charvarius and Bashaud Breeland set for free agency. You probably are going to have to draft a corner because I highly doubt you bring both these guys back. So I got Shaun Wade out of Ohio State here in round 1. Some other players on the board when I picked here, Travis Etienne, the Clemson running back, as tempted as I was. Can't go running back again in round 1. Christian Darrisaw, the Virginia Tech offensive tackle. Jalen Mayfield, another tackle out of Michigan. J.C. Horn, another corner I considered out of South Carolina. Then Creed Humphrey, the interior offensive lineman for the Oklahoma Sooners. Give us a thumbs up. Like this video if the Chiefs need to upgrade from Charvarius Ward. He's a free agent. Hasn't been a good year for him in 2020. So give us a big thumbs up if the Chiefs need to draft a cornerback and upgrade from Charvarius Ward. I expect 500 plus likes on this video. Just like it. It's really simple to do, and it helps us out. And if you think they need to upgrade from Charvarius Ward, like this video. Okay, second round, Rondale Moore, Purdue wide receiver. Let's have some fun. The Chiefs don't have any major needs, so why not get better on offense? Very similar style of play to Tyreek Hill and McCole Hardman, a small burner type of receiver, gadget type of guy, but not just a gadget receiver, a guy who's extremely explosive. Has had some injury concerns, missed some time most of last year with the torn ACL, hasn't played much this year in 2020. I think he might actually be making his debut this weekend. Not so sure on that. I know he missed the first couple of games, so he's been banged up, but when he was out there in 2018, my God, he was incredible. True freshman, these were his numbers. 114 catches, over 1,200 yards, and 12 touchdowns. And they used him in the rush game and the return game. This guy did it all for Purdue. He's an explosive player. Initially opted out, opted back in when the Big Ten decided to play, and hopefully he gets to play some the rest of the season and then can be a top 50, top 75 type of pick. I like him in round 2 a lot. I think Rondale Moore is going to be a really, really good pro at the next level. And with Sammy Watkins and DeMarcus Robinson set for free agency and Byron Pringle, I highly doubt all 3 are back. You could certainly use a wide receiver. Other players on the board when I picked here in round 2, Carlos Bashaud Jr., the Eds out of Wake Forest, Walker Little, the Stanford offensive tackle, Marvin Wilson, Tyler Shelvin, a pair of defensive tackles, a couple of big guys on the interior there. Then Amon-Ra St. Brown, the wide receiver out of USC, more of a traditional wide receiver there, but I went with the speedster burner type that Kansas City likes to get in Rondale Moore. Name your favorite 2021 NFL draft prospect. Rondale Moore is one of my favorite players in this class. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'll make this the pinned comment on today's video, so you guys can debate right there. Let me know. Favorite prospect for 2021. Okay, round 3. Let's go to the offensive line. Zion Johnson, the guard out of Boston College. Under-recruited guy. Went to Dayton initially before transferring to BC. He's now a mainstay on this offensive line. Still has some developing to do, but he's got all the traits to be a solid guard at the next level. I think you probably bring him in. He's probably a swing guard at first, and then maybe by year 2 he becomes a starter. But there's some opening, and not necessarily full blown out openings, but there's opportunity. A lot of free agents on this offensive line. We'll see what happens with Kelechi Osemele if they try to bring him back. That was a brutal injury. I don't expect him to return this year. Does Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, is he a factor next year? Does he opt back in? I assume he will. But after a year off, what kind of player will he be? Andrew Wiley's a free agent. Both your centers are free agents. So there's a lot of moving parts on this offensive line. That's why I went with Zion Johnson. And on top of all that, the interior hasn't been all that great this season. So I go O-line in round 3. Other players on the board, Kerry Vincent Jr., the LSU CB, Darius Washington, the versatile defensive back out of TCU, Kadarius Toney, the Florida wide receiver, Muhammad Ibrahim, Minnesota running back, he's skyrocketing upwards, and then Caden Stearns, the Texas safety, a couple of Big 12 defensive backs available, but I opted to go offensive line in Zion Johnson. What's the bigger need up front? Go ahead and let me know. Type G for guard, type T for tackle. What is the bigger need on this offensive line? Is it on the interior or is it at the tackle position? Let me know. G for guard or T for tackle. Before we continue on our Chiefs mock draft here, get going with our sports betting partner, BetUS at chatsports.com/ChiefsBet. Use that promo code Chiefs125 to get a 125% deposit bonus. And if you're a new customer, hey, you can make money at BetUS. Plus, you can get a free Chiefs jersey. All you got to do is sign up, deposit, place that initial bet, and we'll hook you guys up with a free Chiefs jersey. How do you take advantage of the jersey deal? Email us, chiefs@chatsports.com. We got a ton of different Chiefs jerseys available for you guys. Make some money with BetUS. Bet on the Chiefs all season long. And then if you're a new customer, email us, chiefs@chatsports.com. The jersey deal applies for new customers only and is only good through Monday, November 16th. So take advantage. Chatsports.com/ChiefsBet. Use promo code Chiefs125 and then email us if you are a new customer, chiefs@chatsports.com. We'll hook you guys up with a free Chiefs jersey. All right, let's go to the 4th round, day 3 of the NFL draft here on today's Chiefs mock draft. Tyler Vrabel, ironically enough, another Boston College offensive line. I asked what's bigger need, guard or tackle? Well, why not address both in this mock draft? Still young, only a redshirt sophomore, so has some room to grow. He could certainly go back to college. We will see what he decides to do. I maintain that Eric Fisher might get cut. I still think there's a decent chance that the Chiefs cut Eric Fisher to save over $11 million. And if that's the case, it saves you money, but you need to address that O-line. Not saying Vrabel could come in and start, but maybe he's a swing tackle. Don't forget, Lucas Niang is on this roster as well. He was one of the only rookies in the NFL to opt out due to the coronavirus this year, but I expect him back next year. Maybe he could compete for left tackle. You draft somebody, boom, there's your competition there at left tackle, because I don't think Schwartz will swing to left. I think he'll stay at right tackle. So I go back-to-back offensive linemen here, including Vrabel here in the 4th round. Other players on the board at the time of this selection, Jeremiah Moon, the Florida edge rusher, Jack Jones, the cornerback out of Arizona State, Von Diablo, Virginia Tech safety there, Puka Williams, the Kansas running back, and then Drake Jackson, the interior offensive lineman from Kentucky. Back-to-back BC offensive linemen in Zion Johnson and Tyler Vrabel in rounds 3 and in round 4. Now, I mentioned that Eric Fisher could get cut next year because you cut him, saves you $11.5 million against the salary cap. He's going to cost like $14.5 million. If you cut him, it's only like $3.5 million, or about $3 million of dead cap money. So let me know. Type C for cut him, type K for keep him. If you're going to keep him, you got to restructure his deal, because that's way too much money for what Eric Fisher does at this point. He's kind of an average league tackle. It's not bad. He's a starter, but he is not an all-pro, and he's paid to be at least a Pro Bowler, and that is not who he is. So type C for cut him, type K for keep him. Remember, cut him, save $11.5 million. Okay, a few more here, and keep in mind the Chiefs are projected to get 2 comp picks here in the 5th round based on Emmanuel Ogbah and Kendall Fuller, losing them in free agency. So 3 5th-round picks coming up here. Bang, bang, bang. Pick number 170 overall, T.J. Vasher, the wide receiver out of Texas Tech. Remember this name, 6'6", 210. This guy has a lengthy frame, a monster catch radius. He can high point the football better, probably better than anybody in this draft class. I've watched him a ton living down here in Big 12 country. He's made below average quarterbacks at Texas Tech the past couple of years look really good. They haven't had a good one since Mahomes. He was a true freshman when Mahomes was last there in 2016, and it would give the Chiefs a different type of look at wide receiver. Usually they like these 5'10" to 6'1" speedster types, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, Hardman. Vasher, 6'6", 210, more of a vertical presence there. Could give you something in the red zone as well. Just a different look. I think this would be interesting. Big plays down the field. I think he could be a big slot as well. I'm intrigued to see what happens with him at the next level. And like I said, if you lose D-Rob and Sammy Watkins, you may have to draft a couple of receivers. So I'm going to go TJ Bashaud here with my first fifth-round pick on this Chiefs mock draft. Before we get to our other fifth-round picks, subscribe to the Chiefs Report. You guys asked for a mock draft. I am providing it for you guys here on the channel. We cover the latest Chiefs news, rumors. Sometimes we do game previews. We'll do more draft stuff as we get closer into the offseason. Obviously, into the offseason, there'll be a lot of draft and free agency coverage. We do it all here on the Chiefs Report all year long. Hit that big red subscribe button. We're less than 200 subs away from 10,000 subscribers. Appreciate all you guys who have subbed so far. If you haven't, join the movement. Hit that big red button. All right, just 3 picks later, projected comp pick here in the 5th round. Going to go safety Talona Hufanga out of USC. Talona Hufanga. I don't know if that's completely right, but that's really close. Tough name there. The safety out of USC. Big. 6'2", 215, physical presence. Really good in the run game. Serviceable in the pass game. Has some versatility. Again, Spags likes versatile guys. Hufanga is definitely one of those. Hasn't played a ton at USC, but when he has, I have liked what I've seen. I think he's a good downhill safety. Could be a Dirty Dan type of replacement if he leaves. I don't want Sorensen to leave, but the guy's a free agent. Someone might pay him to be, a legitimate high-level starter, which he's the starter here in this defense, but someone could overpay for Sorensen. That would not surprise me, and maybe you have to draft a replacement for him in the NFL draft. I think Hufanga could fit that mold, so we'll just have to wait and see. One more 5th-round pick here, pick number 177, again, projected comp pick here. Tyreek Smith, the edge out of Ohio State. He has the size, the measurables that Spags likes out of his defensive ends. Remember, traded D4, doesn't like those undersized, more 3-4 type of guys. He likes these big 4-3 D ends. Well, Smith is 6'4", 265. Production hasn't really been there. Only 3 career sacks at Ohio State, but he's flashed. He's popped at times. He's got some real upside. Kind of been a part-time type of pass rusher at Ohio State. Still kind of a developmental type of player. But the 5th round, big Power 5 type of player out of Ohio State with a big frame like that, uptick in athleticism, I'm certainly willing to take a chance. And look, you got free agents, Taco Charlton, Tano Passanio, Alex Okafor. All these guys are gone after this year. You got to get some edge rush help if you don't bring all of these guys back. I think Tyreek Smith could be a guy you bring in, groom him, and he becomes a rotation type of player here in the 5th round. I think that's good value. Others on the board in this, in this range, right? Because 3 picks within 8 total picks of the draft. So I waited until after the 3rd one to show you guys some of the other players available. Josh Ross, the Michigan linebacker. Marco Wilson, the Florida cornerback. Frank Darby, the wide receiver out of Arizona State. Myron Cunningham, the offensive tackle out of Arkansas. And Xavier Kelly, the Clemson defensive tackle. Which do you enjoy more? Because obviously during the season, we're fired up for each game and all that good stuff. But in the offseason, what do you guys enjoy more? Type D for the NFL draft. Type F for free agency. Let me know what you guys think. At Chat Sports, we cover it all. We cover it all here on the Chiefs Report from a Chiefs lens, a Chiefs angle. But let me know, D for draft or F for free agency. Go ahead and let me know in the comments. Last pick here, 6th round, pick number 202 from Miami. Remember the DeAndre Washington trade. So you ship out your 7th round pick. You get a 6th back, which you didn't have because the Bo Keys trade into the draft last year. So you get a 6th round pick here. Amari Burney, the linebacker. Chiefs need some more help at linebacker. I think that's very true. Damian Wilson and Anthony Hitchens, still serviceable players, but they're getting older. Wilson's a free agent. I think Burney has real upside, especially in coverage. To get him in the 6th round here, he can run pretty well. I think it's good value. A little undersized, but that's kind of where the linebacker position's going these days. And you could also not Damian Wilson's a free agent, but you may lose Hitchens as well. You could cut him and save some money. And I feel like you need to save that $2, $3, $4 million and clear up some cap. And hopefully Willie Gay by the end of this year is an established starter on this team. He's kind of been in and out for the Chiefs so far this year. But bring in Burney, who I think, like I said, has some upside in coverage, a couple of interceptions, 4 pass breakups there. I think he could give you a chance to be a rotation type of linebacker. Again, 6th round, you're not going to come in and start right away. But look at what Tershawn Wharton did as a UDFA. So you just never know. Other players on the board when I picked here, Jalen Darden, the North Texas wide receiver, Ventrell Miller, the linebacker out of Florida, Elijah Moore, the Ole Miss wide receiver, Kyrus Tonga, the BYU defensive tackle, and then Leon O'Neal, the Texas A&M safety. So there you go. That is my mock draft. Go ahead and grade it for me. A, B, C, D, or F. Grade my mock draft for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. A, B, C, D, or F. Give myself a B+. Would have liked to maybe get an impact linebacker earlier, but draft falls as it falls, and you take what is available. I like my day 1 and 2 picks here, as we'll recap them real quick. Shaun Wade, Rondale Moore, Zion Johnson, especially Wade and Moore. I feel really good about those. You get the offensive lineman Johnson as well. Tyler Vrabel, a fellow BC offensive lineman. Also, I like TJ Vasher. I think he's got some real potential. Hufanga there, Tyreek Smith, and then Amari Burney. My 8 Chiefs draft picks here on this Chiefs mock draft. Remember, grade it for me, A, B, C, D, or F. We'll do another mock draft. We'll see if we can fit one in before the end of the season. We'll try to fit one more, than we'll have a ton of them in the offseason. So just another reason to subscribe, because we have videos all year long. I'm Harrison Graham, signing off here on the Chiefs Report.